The ISS Concordia was humanity's crown jewel, a deep space research vessel equipped with state-of-the-art technology, carrying a crew of 250 scientists, engineers, and security personnel. Its mission: to investigate a mysterious signal emanating from an uncharted region of the galaxy known as the Black Expanse. The signal was faint but persistent, an unnatural rhythm that seemed to pulse with intention. After 2 years of travel, the Concordia arrived at its destination, a derelict structure floating in the void. The ship's scanners struggled to classify it. The construct was massive, its spires twisting like jagged obsidian teeth. No signs of life, no discernible origin, just an ancient, malevolent presence. Captain Adrienne Kale stood on the bridge, her jaw set tight. "Activate the drone team," she ordered. "We're not sending anyone inside until we know what we're dealing with." The drones fed back grainy footage as they navigated the labyrinthine interior of the structure. The walls were inscribed with glyphs that seemed to shimmer and writhe when observed too long. The airless corridors echoed with faint whispers that shouldn't have been possible. Then the feed cut to static. "We lost all 6 drones," reported Chief Engineer Marcus Wynne, his voice tense. "Retrieve them," Captain Kale ordered. "With all due respect," interjected Dr. Eliza Voss, the lead xenolinguist, "something in there doesn't want us to understand it. Those glyphs, they're more than symbols. They're alive." Kale's steely gaze didn't waver. "We're here to get answers, Doctor. Gear up." The team of 10 descended into the structure, their helmets' lights cutting through the oppressive darkness. Every step echoed endlessly, as if the walls were mocking their intrusion. Dr. Voss trailed her fingers over the glyphs, her gloved hand trembling. "They're reading me," she murmured. "Keep moving," Kale barked. In the heart of the construct, they found it, a chamber dominated by a pulsating sphere of black ichor, suspended in mid-air by tendrils of liquid shadow. The signal was coming from the sphere, its rhythm now deafening within their comms. "It's alive," Voss whispered. Her voice trembled with both awe and terror. "Secure samples," Kale ordered. As they approached, the sphere reacted. Shadows snaked out, enveloping 2 crew members in an instant. Their screams reverberated before cutting off abruptly. The remaining team fired their weapons, but the shadows absorbed the energy, growing larger with each pulse of the sphere. "Retreat!" Kale shouted. The survivors barely made it back to the Concordia. Whatever the sphere was, it wasn't content to stay contained. Tendrils of darkness followed them, spreading through the ship like a virus. It corrupted systems, turning lights into strobes and twisting gravity in localized pockets. Crew members began to disappear, their screams echoing through the corridors. Dr. Voss locked herself in the lab, feverishly analyzing the samples they had managed to collect. Her findings were grim. "It's not just alive," she explained to Kale over the comms. "It's sentient. And it's hungry. Those glyphs? They are a language of predation. This thing has devoured civilizations before. It's been waiting for us. Can we destroy it?" Kale demanded. "No," Voss replied. "But we might contain it. If we overload the ship's core, we can create a localized singularity. It'll pull the construct and itself into oblivion." "That's a suicide mission," Kale said. "There's no other way," Voss replied, her voice hollow. "This thing can't reach Earth." As the shadows consumed more of the ship, Kale rallied the remaining crew. "We're humanity's last line of defense. We're not making it out of this, but we'll make damn sure nothing follows us home." The plan was set. Kale, Voss, and Wynne would manually overload the core while the rest of the crew created distractions to slow the entity's advance. The ship became a battleground, the shadows coalescing into grotesque forms, parodies of the crew they had consumed. In the engine room, Kale and her team worked frantically. The core's hum grew to a deafening roar as it neared critical mass. The shadows breached the chamber, tearing Wynne apart before he could scream. Kale and Voss stood back to back, firing futilely as they activated the final sequence. "You're a hell of a captain," Voss said, her voice steady despite the chaos. "And you're a hell of a scientist," Kale replied. The core detonated, light consuming the void as the Concordia and the construct were obliterated. But the story didn't end there. Months later, a faint signal was detected on the outskirts of the solar system. A rhythmic pulse, persistent and unnatural. A salvage team was dispatched to investigate. They found a fragment of the Concordia adrift, its walls inscribed with shimmering glyphs. And in the shadows, something moved.